Welcome to the Black Spin Global Podcast. I am Lucy.
And I'm Eugene.
And welcome to a brand new episode. Eugene, how are you?
In the studio. Happy Easter.
Oh yeah, happy Easter,
Although it's kind of past now.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of past, yeah.
I'm good, Lucy. How are you?
I'm all right. I feel like it's been forever. When I checked though, it was like 2 weeks.
In the studio, it's been a while.
Yeah, in the studio.
Yeah, we obviously resumed.
Yeah,
since.
we did. Yeah. How has been the tennis for you?
It's been good. Like, I mean, I've enjoyed it. A lot of Masters 1000s, a few WTA 500s as well, and ATP 500s, which we'll get into. But
yeah,
I've actually enjoyed it. Like, we're on to the clay, obviously. French Open around the corner.
Now. First clay season without Nadal.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting.
Which is going to be interesting.
I heard there's going to be like some kind of
ceremony
thing.
Yeah,
at Roland Garros.
Yeah, because his Davis Cup one was a bit
of a
weird.
Mess.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I think it's well deserved. I'm not going to lie. It's well deserved.
Considering he won more than 14 times?
I think it's crazy numbers, bro.
Lost count.
He is. I mean, someone who literally has a statue of himself at the place and before he even retired says everything. So, yeah.
Crazy.
We shall see how that goes.
But no, I've enjoyed. Have you been kind of keeping track of things, or?
I have. I did enjoy. It made me realize that we probably need another 1,000 like the women.
Yeah.
I feel like I was watching a lot more of the men's.
Because it was Monte Carlo, which was the
Monte
main...
Carlo. I know there's Charleston and stuff, but
that's a 500.
That's a 500, and it's not red clay. I know it's not a massive thing, but like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's just. Yes, I felt like I was watching the men a lot, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
I'm okay now, you know.
That does make sense, I guess.
So it's just like, why is there like the 1,000 for, you know? And it also made me realize I need to go Monte Carlo, bro. I have to go, not as media, as a fan. And I found a way to make it cheaper because
you know, Tamani was there. Shouts out to Tamani Carroll of The Guardian.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He was there, but he was actually there like on holiday. Although he did say he interviewed some players as well.
That's what I'm saying. So, it's proper nice. It's proper.
Yeah.
I've always said it though, but I don't know. It hit me a little bit more now. Maybe because I am going Madrid.
Go on.
Soon as a fan. So please don't ask me no questions. Don't message me about these players. Don't ask me pictures for anything. I am there to drink and enjoy some tennis in person. So looking forward to that.
Cool. But yeah, let's get into the show. So are we going to start with news first?
Let's start with news, yes.
So Serena
Williams.
Time. Well, was she on the cover of Time, or was that just a promotional thing?
No, so you know how every year they do the 100
most important,
most influential people and stuff, and I think they just pick out the biggest ones. Obviously, there's quite a few ones, but I think Serena. There was a lot of other women athletes as well.
Okay,
but obviously Serena Williams being Serena Williams. You know,
makes
made
sense.
Up the biggest headline. But yeah, although I know to some people it's like, oh, wow, how, you know, she retired. But, you know, venture capital fund that invests in companies founded by women and people of color, ownership of the Toronto Temp, being included in the WNBA expansion team. And, of course, her tennis legacy still lives on. So, yeah, it was really nice seeing something from her. I think I'm enjoying the fact that we still mention her name and we still see her.
Even though it's been, what, 2 years?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't think it would be the case. I'm not going to lie. I genuinely thought she will be more like behind the sines.
Just evolve and then dip, literally. Completely.
Exactly. But even as a woman, I think it's inspiring seeing that although she stepped out to like build her family, she's still doing things on the side.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times as a woman you're thinking, oh, you probably can't do both, but she's basically showing you can. So
it's funny because I actually read the article, fairly recently actually, because I saw there were a lot of quotes because she was talking about Jannik Sinner, basically saying that like if that was her, it was very tongue in cheek though. Like I don't think she was being completely like serious. Like that's how I read it anyway. And also too, like it was also like a very small part of the interview. So it was like at the end, near the end is where it basically those words came. And I was like, that's also quite interesting and significant as well, because when the news broke anyway, it was like, oh my God, like Serena said this about Jannik Sinner. And then, yeah, like I said, when I actually sat down and read the full article, I was like, okay, it's not actually that bad. Like,
But I think people also wanted to make sure that it didn't come out as bad, which is why they also pulled out a quote when she said, "I'm not trying to like."
Yeah. She kind of prefaced it.
Yeah. She's like, "Listen, I like him." She literally went as far as said tennis needs him. Listen, first of all, Jannik Sinner, I'm sorry, he's that guy at the moment, because how can you get praised by the greatest of all times while you're sitting down on a ban right now and you can't play for like, another month? Do you get what I mean?
And
so
he
that's
still returns as the
Still
number one.
returns.
It's pretty bossy.
But she's complete. Everything that she said anyways was true, and we said it when when the ban was announced. Literally, I said it.
She said she would have ended up in jail. She said,
ended up in
jail. But then she laughed.
Yeah. Obviously, she said it as a joke, but the one thing that she said that I think would have definitely been true is that her grandson would have been snatched away. I think that would have
interesting.
Been I think, like, let's say for example.
So you don't think she would have been protected like by the WTA in terms of like Serena Williams, man? Also, I think you also have to. This is all hypothetical, isn't it? Because obviously it never happened, thank God.
Yeah.
But like, surely it would depend on like where she was in her career. Like if this was Serena 10+ Grand Slams, I don't think it would have been. Do you understand? I'm just so glad this never happened in real life.
Yet
but
we've seen Serena with 20 Grand Slams still being disrespected, still not being protected. Remember how she said that she was getting tested like crazy.
Yeah. That's
they
true.
were trying to catch her. So that is why she even said in the article herself, I was extremely mindful and careful because I knew what could happen.
Yeah. What did you make of her line when she said, like she feels for Maria Sharapova?
I was kind of surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised. But remember I told you, I think I said this when they posted a picture at the Met Gala and people were like, like they're actually like friends. I'm like, listen, after like so many years, like, they're both moms now, like that was only on call. And they were young, they were competitive. They probably don't even see each other today. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, for all we know. Yeah. But I was surprised. But at the same time, I think she made that comment more towards the fact, like, look how they would treat men tennis players.
Exactly, male, female.
And women tennis players. I think that was more of that because Sharapova's case was a bit... respectfully in it. Do you get what I mean?
Although
but yeah.
It was found that it was through no fault of her own in terms of how the substance got into her system.
Which another reason why Serena probably mentioned her name.
But she did get a longer ban as well, which is a bit weird.
This is what exactly.
But no, it's a good point you make. Like, I think, there's just a lot of kind of things you can kind of take away from it. But at the same time, I don't think it needs to be looked into like that deeply, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
With the Serena... in terms of the comments on Sinner.
I think, but she's the GOAT.
No, of course. And
do you
she's
get what I mean?
Tennis,
and also, this is like, it is crazy that we have a number one player not playing right now. Like, do you get what I mean?
He's back within a couple of weeks. But
but I personally, I like it when Serena's making comments about tennis. Like, don't get me wrong, I love everything else that she's doing, from her beauty brand to, helping.
Yeah, it shows that she's like tapped in.
Exactly.
No, definitely.
Especially after all the talk that people were doing about how like, she doesn't support, go watch like the women's tennis and blah, blah, blah. And she literally went to basically back one of her biggest, well, quote unquote, rivalry, when really isn't. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, she's at the end of the day, whatever she said, even obviously she was saying most of it as a joke, is facts.
Yeah.
I think if it was her sister, or a woman player who did not look like them in terms of race, would have been completely different, because you have Iga as well. It was way easier on her. But I see why she said that, because throughout her career, they were always trying to find a way to come and stop her and catch her every single time. So anyone that says she's exaggerating, she's definitely not. The gel thing, but that was obviously she said that as a joke, But I genuinely do believe they would have snatched at least some of her slams. So probably the slams that she won during that period or right before, I think they would have done something, 100%.
It's also, just quickly as well, Sharapova, in the timepiece, it said, when her name was mentioned anyway, they put in brackets, Sharapova declined to comment. So it's like, they maybe asked her, like, do you have any views on Sinner? And she said, "Oh, yeah, probably. You know what? I'm not going to go there." Like,
I don't blame her.
And I want to say that they have a relationship as well, as in her and Sinner, because I've seen her in, was it Monte Carlo? They were pictured together anyway somewhere, which is after she retired.
Right.
And yeah, there was talk about them being, there's like basically some kind of relationship there. I don't know if they share like maybe the same agent or.
I think she probably declined because of the fact that that's probably one of the, not even probably, that's the worst part of her career. So I think is more like, I don't want to bring this
low period.
to light again. Even when Sinner was going through this, he didn't really want to speak about it. Same as Ego. I don't think people even bothered Ego that much, to be honest, which to me was crazy.
Interesting.
So yeah, but it is what it is. Listen, at the end of the day, Sinner won. He actually won. The GOAT feels sorry for him. And the GOAT said, men tennis need it. Once Serena Williams tells me that, no one can tell me anything. So
you love that line. Oh, but yeah, shouts out to Serena, man, every time.
For
sure. Coco Gauff now in her business bag.
Yes.
Go on.
She has now left Teammate,
which is Roger Federer's
agency. And she'll be forming her own agency, Coco Enterprises, with WME. So a little bit like what Osaka did with her agent. And I am so excited.
Yeah.
I am so happy. It's just nice seeing so many women in sports in general, not just in tennis, taking over, like taking control of this stuff. Like you have Angel Reese having all these deals. She even announced that she retired her mom, bought a second home.
I saw that.
Yeah,
all
them stuff.
Yeah.
You see Serena doing these things. You see Venus also doing her own thing, and then you just see that legacy going into the younger players like Angel, Coco, Naomi.
Younger athletes, yeah.
Yeah, the younger athletes. And not even just like the black women as well, like literally just all of them, from the WNBA to WTA to the young soccer players. Like it's actually pretty cool, which is what I liked. But most importantly, I've been open about how I felt about, Coco and the choices with her agent. So I'm really happy that she's taking control so we can see a little bit more of her and her personality.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's brilliant. And obviously, like, when it all kind of broke, because this was like maybe a few weeks ago now, everybody was saying, wow, this is huge. Like,
Very
in terms
big.
of someone so young as well making this move, because she's, just turned 21.
Yeah.
And for her to kind of take this step, like, this early on in her career, like, it says a lot, I think, about, like, her and just her maturity as well.
Her and also the industry itself, because when we interviewed Zena Garrison and she was talking about how like Serena was so excited to finally get like a Fortune 1 company signed to her and so just that little thing. And then now look today, Coco had like the highest prize money last year, and now she has her own thing. She could just take control. It's just really nice, and it's really big. And yeah, man, looking forward to seeing like what she's gonna do with it.
Shouts out to Coco. We'll talk about her kind of form later on. Next bit of news: the letter from the top 20 players,
big
to the Grand Slam. To the Grand Slams, wasn't it?
Yeah. So to the 4 Grand Slams was the top 20 players in ATP and WTA. They sent that letter to the 4 Grand Slams for better pay and better distribution of profits. And what was interesting is that they sent that just under 2 weeks ago after the PTPA launched that legal action that we spoke about.
Mess.
And yeah, so they just won like just better ways to get their money, which it seems right. There's 2 players that mentioned things that I felt like made a lot of sense, which was Qin Wenzheng and Holger Rune, who they both use other sports as examples. Like Qin Wen basically used the NBA and said that which I didn't even know this, like there's nearly like a 50%
split
between like the organization and the players, as well as Holger Rune saying that there's a nearly 50% with so many other sports as well. And it's
just my only thing with that. And obviously I'm not I'm not a tennis player, but as in a pro tennis player, we're dealing with an individual sport, whereas in team sports it is different in terms of the way things are negotiated, if that makes sense. Because obviously as a player, you're like an independent contractor. Like you work for yourself, basically. So you're not going to... And as there's no kind of, as the PTPA kind of shown, there's no kind of association that players are kind of all
together.
Exactly. So that's why it's very disjointed. But this is powerful. And also what I do like about it, and sorry to cut you, is the fact that it's not just the top players that are kind of looking out for each other. They're looking out for the players,
exactly,
you know, top 50, well, just inside the top 100. Who are like basically, they depend on the Grand Slams to kind of keep them going for the year. Because obviously Grand Slams, you win a first round match, that's a lot of money.
Exactly.
And that can last you like a good few months in
100%.
terms of paying, you know, your coaches, physios and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think this is a powerful step, and hopefully the Grand Slams will kind of play ball basically.
Yeah, Kinwen was one of the first players to mention that, saying that, listen, this is not just for us. Like, there are lower ranked players where they're probably not where they're supposed to be because they don't have the funding to like fund a coaching team or like a full team to travel with them and everything has gone up. So it's like, you know, what
tariffs.
these tariffs.
And I'm not even saying that as a joke. But I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, but it's true though. These tariffs. But we know so far that the USTA and the FFT responded by proposing a direct and open meeting starting at Madrid Open, which is happening now.
Love that.
Or Roland Garros and so on. I don't think there's been any other comments from the other two.
So Wimbledon and Australia.
Yeah, I did read an article that basically did actually share how much like Wimbledon costs to like run things. And it's like, yeah, they're getting a lot of revenue, but by the time they have to pay everything to run these things, the revenue is not as much.
Lucy, there's a lot of money, man. There's a lot of money in the kitty. There's a lot of money.
Listen, I'm not against the letter, because when I went on the Wimbledon website and I saw how much a round one ticket was at Wimbledon, and then I checked my bank statement and saw how much I spent on Honey Deuce last year. Yeah, they have money to give.
But yeah, like I think the main fact is there's more than enough money to go around, basically, and it should 100%. Be equally shared.
100%.
And the players are due more than they're currently getting. Like, that's just 100%. A fact.
Do you think that the PTPA lawsuit pushed?
Oh, definitely. That's definitely sparked something, like, behind the scenes. Like, and it's funny now as well. I think there's a lot of discussions and like kind of talks happening as we speak that we're not privy to, because obviously we're not players.
Yeah.
Like. But I think now the PTPA, even though the lawsuit, and there were some good points, and people have made some very good comments, like on our posts on YouTube and like social media as well, saying that the kind of what the PTPA are asking for, it does make sense in terms of they are looking out for the players' like best interests. It's just the way it's been done.
Exactly. That has always been my issue. Is the way is that you already don't have the support of the top players, even the co-founder. Even though they might agree to it, I feel like a lot of players, because even some players, they even dropped out of the lawsuit after because they saw how ugly it was getting. Like, you cannot go and call them like the mafia as much as...
Yeah, the wording was very mad.
And for you, and I think that, for example, makes it even worse because, you know, the ATP president is Italian, and then you have Jannik Sinner. Like, it's all this is what I'm saying. It's like, when I read that, I was like, raw, that's actually crazy. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's like, you can't really do that. Like, that's actually insane. But I think it's funny because everyone was against the PTPA, and now I feel like it's so interesting how no one is really giving them credit for shaking the table, because you can't tell me that they did not feel like, who knows, maybe they did work. I feel like they probably did think about the letter but moved faster after the PTPA lawsuit.
And also this was definitely in the works for a while. Like, this was
100%. Yeah, you can't just. That's what I'm saying. So, but I think they must have fast forward everything after the PTPA lawsuit. But I might go as far as to say, Eugene, that I feel like something crazy is going to happen by the end of this year.
Stop it, man.
Like a strike or something.
No, we can't go there.
Like, I really think there's going to be...
What, as in like no tournaments or something, or like players just not refusing to play?
Something like that. I feel like soon.
It's happened in like other sports, so why
It's
not?
happened in other sports. It's happened in tennis, but just years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just feel like at one point someone's going to have enough. If it doesn't happen, it's because people are thinking, bro, I've got my kids
100%.
to feed and stuff. Like,
100%.
do you get what I mean? Like, I mean, things are expensive. That's why you have Alice Cornet coming back to tennis. She probably saw everything and was like, wait, hold on.
I'm out,
This
man.
retirement money is not enough. Let me get back to... If I can get them first round exit checks, I will take it. I'm telling you.
Get back to the grind of the WTA tour.
Yeah, I don't know, but do you think the Grand Slams are going to answer back?
I think so. Well, I mean, like,
do you think they're actually going to increase?
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. I do.
I don't think they're going to do it.
I think as well. It's going to take. I think it's just going to take 1, 2, and then the rest are going to follow suit. Like, because if they don't, then it's how is that going to look on the other well, the ones that don't or take longer. Like,
yeah,
these kind of things always take time. And I think, once...
Oh, so you don't think it's going to happen right now?
Maybe not this year, because obviously Australia's gone already, and we're coming into the French Open. Mm-hmm. I think, going into 2026, I think there'll be a kind of agreement all round for all 4, I think. I'd like that to be the case anyway.
I would love for it to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's actually going to happen. I don't think they're going to increase
let's wait and see then.
So let's see how does meetings with the USTA and FFT so far is going to go anyways. But yeah, before we get to clay season highlights, just definitely want to give a quick shout out to Victoria Mboko for making a BJK debut. And it's been really fun seeing so many people talking about her game.
Yeah, man.
I've been speaking about her on our TikTok. And she's just a young player with so much like skill. She can do everything.
Yeah.
She can do everything. Obviously, her backhand definitely her best weapon, but it's the fact that she is really starting off her career, and yet you're able to see her to do so many different movements against so many like experienced players. Like, she's doing these slices, drop shots, moving so well, and she has a lot of like power. But that her backhand is definitely like
you love the backhand.
Oh, I love it so much.
I was actually
really
I watched her match against Japan, because obviously Canada didn't qualify, unfortunately. But Mboko did win both of her singles matches, which is great on debut as well.
Yeah.
But I was watching her match against, I think it was Shabahara of Japan. Mm-hmm. It's like 4:00 in the morning. Don't ask me why I was up that late. But yeah, just found myself watching. I was like, bloody hell, this girl, she's a talent. And like you said, at 18 years old. Shabahara's older than her. I'm not quite sure how old she is, but she's more experienced. It was like a 3-set tussle. So Mboko won the first set and she was up a break in the second, then lost it on a tie break. So it was tough in terms of like mentally to kind of bounce back after that. But she sure did in the third set and won it, I think 6-3 or 6-4. And I was really impressed with just her mentality in that match, because that showed me that she's got something about her.
No, she does.
So yeah, I'm very excited to see what she does.
Yeah, like, she has a lot of confidence. When I watched her Miami Open, like her aura was just different. Like, she was walking around like this
Been
was
here
like
before.
Yeah. And she wanted to play against a top tough player, like she was saying it.
Yeah. So
I think like as long as she remains healthy, because last year that was one of the issues that she had. She actually was injured for like a hot minute. So for her to go on a crazy winning streak at the beginning of this year and then playing against Badosa and giving her the biggest headache, giving us an incredible first round at Miami Open and then doing this at BJK, I'm just so excited. I just hope that this year it just keeps on going.
It's been a great season.
And just, has a good team. She's sorted.
Another Billie Jean King Cup debutant, Hailey Baptiste, did very well. USA helped USA qualify for the finals. So yeah, Baptiste, she played 2 singles matches, won both of those as well in straight sets. So didn't drop a set. Just looked very confident. Like,
Baptiste's been on a very... And we were right, by the way, because we were not sure last time when we announced this, but she is working with both.
Okay, so that's a confirmed. Okay,
and Franklin, yeah, they're both together in the team.
As we speak right now, she is in action in Madrid.
Yes, in Madrid.
She was, well, when I left, she was 3-love up, not even 10 minutes been played against Sorana Castell. I'm just checking the score now. Ooh, they're into a third, Lucy.
Oh, is it?
So she won the first set 6-2.
Uh-huh.
Castell won the second 7-5, and yeah, they've just started the third.
Okay, well, fingers crossed.
And I think Castella's, she reached the final in Madrid. She's definitely gone deep in Madrid in the past.
That was like, what?
And she's like 35. She's a very experienced player. But Baptiste was looking good, and I feel again, I can see her coming through that.
She so far that I feel like her last couple of matches has been like her best.
Yeah.
Like she's really been locked in. She's been moving a lot better than before. So yeah,
she's for me like she's looking like she belongs like in the top 100 now. Like, cause I think she's like 80. She's in the 80s somewhere. I think her career high is like 80. But yeah, she's got game to push on. I think be like a top 50 player
for sure.
So yeah, look forward to seeing more of Hailey Baptiste. And yeah, shouts out to her and Mboko for brilliant Billie Jean King Cup debuts.
For sure.
Should we get into the clay then?
Yes.
Tiafoe, Francis Tiafoe, back-to-back finalist. Well, actually, was it back-to-back finalist?
Yeah, because he won 2023, finalist
runner-up 24,
2024, and then
runner-up
finalist
again.
this year.
So yeah, this year was Brooksby in the final.
Yeah.
It's a tough one against Brooksby because I think the head-to-head Brooksby leads. And this was their first meeting on clay. And I thought going in, I was like, yeah, Tiafoe is a better clay court player. And he's a better player in general.
Yeah.
But Brooksby, boy, he blew out, well, he took out Tommy Paul, which was a top seed in the semi-final.
Apparently he was, I didn't watch any of his matches prior, but apparently during the tournament,
he was on it. He
was on crazy smoke. But in general, how do you feel about, because there's been a lot of talk about Francis since the US Open. Do you feel like...
It's been tough, definitely. And he'd admit that.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but I think this Houston run will do him a lot of good as well, because to get to a final at any level, like just to win matches, a consistent run of winning matches, that's going to stand you in good stead.
What do you feel like he needs to do?
Just keep playing. I mean, and again, major credit, because after Houston, he played Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
And a lot of players don't do that. Like, come from the States, go straight to Europe.
Yeah.
Because a lot of players tend to miss Monte Carlo,
of course,
because of the whole kind of transition is too quick from States to Europe. But yeah, I think he played Kecmanovic in the first round, he won that. Kecmanovic is a very good player. Second round was against the Australian Popperin. Exactly. And I want to say that was a 3-set win for Popperin.
Yeah.
Like, and I watched, I saw the highlights. Tiafoe's playing good tennis. Like, so for me, it's not a thing of, wow, he's playing awfully bad. Like, this is something to worry about. He's playing well. He just needs to win, like, as in get more wins under his belt. And I feel that will come. Clay, he's admitted it's not his best or favourite surface.
That's true.
That's true.
Do you know actually what I've noticed?
Go on. What are you going to say here? I'm intrigued. Go on.
I don't think clay's for us, you know.
Stop it! Don't say that.
We're not feeding really clay, you know. We've had success.
Coco, what are you talking about? Coco is a great clay court player.
Hold on.
Artifice, come on.
Hold on.
Felix.
When you compare it to the other surfaces, you know, there's something about clay that's just, although, you know, the only Frenchman to win
exactly
French Open.
The last exactly.
They were just the last. The only one in the Open ever is a black man. Fair enough. You know, Serena had a crazy run in 2013. Serena's a great clay court player.
Exactly. Lucy, come on.
No. I'm not saying she's not, but compared to like hardcore and grass, is nothing.
I'm saying more in terms of your overall statement about like us on clay. I don't know if I completely agree with that, man.
Really? Yeah. I'm not saying no, but see, you're taking it too...
Maybe.
Yeah, you're taking it like, relax, hear me out. I'm not saying we're bad or crap or whatnot, but when I'm looking at other surfaces, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's not really... But then again, I feel like I can't really tell so much for the women, but for the men, it was definitely more tough because Nadal was dominating for God knows how long.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see the next 10, 20 years how it's going to go, you know, a little bit as well as like Serena when it comes to Wimbledon.
because I think, again, it's a good point you make. Like, especially Americans, they kind of write off the clay court season. Like, they're like, oh, it's not for me.
It's
like,
not.
But I think that's changing, though, because of Coco. I think, in terms of recent times, like, because Coco's shown she kind of grew up on clay. I mean, she played a lot in France, didn't she? Like in her junior.
You know what? I'm thinking in terms of American players, you're definitely, yeah, you're right.
I think that perception is changing, definitely. Like, but I think there is this idea that clay for the Americans, we're not.
Because even in terms of the
Sloane,
fans,
look at Sloane.
True.
Sloane's a great clay court player.
True. That's very true. But I feel like even in terms of the fans, I don't think they're interested. Like the American fans, I don't think they're that interested.
But isn't that more because of like the time zone thing in terms of like when tournaments?
I was even about to say the N-word, like, bro, like, even Australia, you know. But you're right. But actually, I know, right? One time I was listening to our old podcast, and I was like, damn, I was swearing my ass off on this podcast. But anyways, but no, you're right. Actually, the time zone thing, because I remember there was Ava, Washington Post journalist, where she said to us that they don't bother even flying them to Australia because the Americans are not that. I feel like the American tennis fans are mainly interested on US Open and Wimbledon, not necessarily French Open and Australian Open that much. And Australian Open will probably be like the final if an American is there, and that's probably even because of the Williams sisters or even that time when we had Keys and things.
That's a great point. I want listeners to let us know, like, if,
I was just
if
about
that
to
is
say,
a thing.
guys,
please.
let us know, like, which, because we're just guessing here,
but
I think
to me that's an educated, like, guess observation, like, because it makes sense.
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So yeah, but other than that, shout out to Francis. Hopefully, you know, everything will go well at Madrid as well. Up next, Arthur Fils.
Arthur. What a season he's having, man.
What a season he's having, especially with the way he started. A lot of people were already trying to climb him out. I was like, nah, man, because that's exactly what happened. Last year, he had a slow start, even slower than this year. And look what he did. Like, you know, he was going far. He won titles. But yeah, after 2 back-to-back quarterfinals, he reached the quarterfinals in Monte Carlo and then semi-finals in Barcelona, which he lost to Carlos Alcaraz in both quarterfinals and semi-finals. And I have to say that quarterfinal match was my favorite.
Monte Carlo, yeah. Insane.
And Monte Carlo.
Insane level.
It was my favorite. I was sad at the end, but it was the first time in a long time I was excited about 2 young players, like, playing, because Carlos was finally getting into the, you know what, you guys have been on my back because of Jannik Sinner and all this number one, all this pressure. I want this pressure off, and this is my surface. This is my home. I need to do this properly. And Fils was just on a crazy run, and it was just nice just seeing these 2 young players. And it was their first meeting as well. It was very exciting. But that first match, I think, obviously, in addition to Carlos just being, Carlos Alcaraz, I would hate to play him. I would actually hate to play him because I don't understand. It's like out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere. I was just checking my phone. Be on job.
I was just checking my phone to see the message I sent you after the match. I'm not going to repeat what I said to you, but no, Fils, and good point you make about Alcaraz too, because the pressure. It's been a bit mad. It's been considering what he's already achieved as well. Like, it's a bit crazy, I think. But I just feel that's the way the media works, I guess.
And not even just media, also the fans.
And no, definitely. Just unrealistic, like, expectations. And it's because insane. Obviously we've had the kind of, I say the big 3. Like,
that's true.
It's been such a thing where that's like almost the expected thing now. That we need to get that out of our heads. That's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. It's never
going
to happen. And I'm guilty. I'm not going to lie. I'm guilty as well. I feel like at times I'm just like, bro, like, come on. And it's funny because it's funny that I'm guilty, yet I also always say,
you're backing it for.
I know, but it's just like, these are the people, like, they raised me.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like, it was years since I was a kid of seeing these people dominating the sport. So it's hard to get out of that.
Definitely.
It's really hard to get out of that because we don't have that anymore. But honestly, you're right. Like I think that's why I was excited about the match, is that both of them were on high level, different mentality. And I know for a fact, if Carlos did not go into Monte Carlo without that mentality, Feast would have won that title, man.
But I want to focus on Feast though, because that especially for that Monte Carlo one, the opening few rounds, he played 2 players that like were in hot streaks. So Greek Sport had just reached the final, I think in Marrakesh. He lost that final though, but he had more matches on clay than Feast. This was Feast's first clay court event as well, because like you said, he was coming off the back of Miami.
Yeah.
So to go from hard and then clay, a Masters 1000.
And a new team as well. He changed his coach.
Well, that was earlier in the year.
No, he changed his coach. Was it not just after or just before Miami Open? Sorry. Yeah, just before Miami Open.
The Croatian, which we spoke about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we spoke about that. That was because he'd been working with him since, well, the start of this year.
I thought it was Miami Open.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry. But yeah.
So yeah, and then in his second match he played Caboli, and again Caboli had just won.
Yes.
Where did Caboli win? Was it Bucharest? I think. Again, clay court event.
Yeah. He's Italian anyways.
4 or 5 matches.
Yeah.
Feast beats him in straight sets. I think Greek Sport was a 3-set win for Feast, and I love when he comes through 3 sets. I know you don't like when he plays 3-setters. I love it when he plays 3 setters because it shows.
All I'm saying is, did you see the comments?
I did.
Did you see the comments?
I did.
Shout out to everyone who dropped
He's
comments
been
and said,
listening to Lucy. That was
you
crazy.
were right. Look what happened when he wins in. You see, this is what I'm saying.
But then the Rublev.
You thought I was being too tough.
Stop it.
When I was just spitting facts.
Stop it. The Rublev match was mad because. Yeah, he played Rublev off the court.
He did.
Rublev is like, well, a former champion, isn't he? He won Monte Carlo.
Yeah, he won Monte Carlo, yeah.
Great clay court player.
Yeah.
Again, Feast wins that in straight sets. And then to go and to come so close to beating Carlos.
Very close.
Oh, Lucy.
Very close. Very close. Very close.
Lucy.
But it's hard not to be mad because, again, like I said, like there were times where I was watching and I was just like, yeah. And you just see Carlos just doing madness. You're thinking like, bro, like, come on, man, allow us like a little bit. Just give me a crumb, give me something. Like, it was so, anytime Feast was ready to break, Carlos Alcaraz just had this crazy like...
And Feast did say that in terms of like the level, like in terms of kind of the big moments anyway.
Exactly.
Alcaraz played the bigger moments better.
And I think that's where Alcaraz stand out from a lot of the players. Not Feast. I'm talking about in just ATP players in general. Yes, there are times when I know he's not had the best, even though he still won a title, like literally Rotterdam before Monte Carlo. But I know where everyone is talking about and they feel about him, but it doesn't take away the fact that when it's time for those big moments and when he's locked in is different. But at the end of the day, we had a great match, and I still strongly believe that Arthur Feast will win a 1,000 title this year.
I can see that.
I said it. I feel like he's going to win it this year, and I'm really happy to see Carlos back because clay season without Nadal. Something got to give. I want to be entertained. So, entertain me, Carlos.
For real. And shouts out to Feast as well, because he backed up Monte Carlo with that semi-final run
in Barcelona. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And again, like you said, losing to Alcaraz, that was a straight sets win for Alcaraz then.
Yeah.
Weird as well. Did you see the Tsitsipas match before? Because he retired, I think, after like 3 games.
Yeah.
I found it a bit strange. And I'm not comfortable saying it, but it's the truth. Like, if you're not physically right, don't come out and play. Like, just withdraw before coming onto court. Sorry, Lucy. I'm sorry.
No. I'm not against that. But you have given props to players in general, not blacksmith players, but you've given props to players for coming on court when they're not 100%.
But finishing the match. So finish the match.
You're right.
Don't come onto court and then know you're going to retire. Because that's just a waste of time.
Fair.
I'm sorry. That is very extreme for me to say, like, because I'm for the players. Do you get me? But I don't like seeing that, man.
Yeah. You saw how he's working with Govan now.
Yeah, has that been confirmed or
has it not been? I swear it's been confirmed.
I don't think because he wasn't in the camp.
I think there's been talk, and then someone did ask Goran or Tsitsipas, and one of them said, "I can't say anything right now."
Exactly. But Goran's not been in the camp yet. It's still his dad.
He's waiting for that check to clear.
And there's one black brother as well. I don't know. He's always wearing like a Moatoglu tracky, as in with Tsitsipas. I need to do some research and find out who he is.
Patrick's for the people.
I want to say he's French. I'm just assuming he's French.
You're just assuming.
Yeah. But no, shouts out to Feast. He's currently in Madrid, obviously seeded, so we don't know who he plays yet. Who are we talking about next?
Shelton.
Benny Shelts.
Mm-hmm. After an early exit at Monte Carlo, he reached the finals at BMW Open
Munich,
where he lost to Alex Zverev, first seed. I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch BMW Open that much.
Yeah, no, it was kind of, was it difficult to keep? Yeah, it was weird timings, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of the matches were quite early in the morning.
But I'm glad that he reached the finals.
Yeah.
I've said it the first time he played on clay. I feel like clay is going to be a surface that he will play well on. I just think he just needs a little bit more time, and I feel like after this year, we should definitely see, but for him to reach even the final is something.
Some crazy stats as well. And I was like, hang on a minute, this doesn't make any... And even he was like, no, that's a lie. I'm going to find the stat because we posted it when he reached the semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the first...
The first... Actually, no, is this the final? No, that was a semi. This is the final. Yeah, so the first American man to reach an ATP 500 semi-final on clay.
But this goes back to... and
it's like, what? Even he was like, that's a lie.
And do you know what's funny? And look what we just spoke about 10 minutes ago.
True, that's a good point.
You see,
that's a good point. But this is the men. Because like the women, that would not be the case. Serena,
but remember how we said like the Americans might not really be... Like you said it yourself, like, Americans might not really be like feeling like clay like that. But even with the men, like, as we said also, with Nadal dominating, where are you going?
True.
As well. But that's crazy. When you hear that stat, that's actually crazy.
Because I was like, hang on a minute, surely that
makes no sense.
That can't be the case. And then when he reached the final, it was the first American man to reach a clay final above ATP 250 level since 2002. And that was Andre Agassi. Because Agassi, I think it was a Masters 1000, either in Monte Carlo or Rome, I think. And I was like, bloody hell. But then I also thought about what you said about Shelton on clay in terms of his kind of game style matching up nicely with the surface. Mm-hmm. And he did say as well, I think it was after the quarterfinal or semi-final match, that he's kind of just doing a lot of work in terms of he's not quite where he wants to be yet on the surface, but he likes how things are progressing. But he's like, he knows there's still a lot more to kind of improve on. Yeah. And I was like, that's brilliant. The fact that he knows, or not knows, but like, he's willing to kind of put the work in, and he knows he's got the game to play on the surface.
Yeah. And but in general this year, you can see that he's been trying and doing different stuff. Yeah. And that is why I think he has not had a bad season. No. To be honest.
He did lose second round. He got a bye, I think, in Monte Carlo. So he lost... Yeah, he lost to Fokina. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and Fokina reached like what the final. He was a finalist, right? Yeah, he was a finalist.
Was he a finalist?
Yeah, Fokina was a finalist or the semi-finalist.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Course, yeah.
So for those who are like, what's going on with Shelton, blah blah, and whatnot, you can some of his styles, like his playing style it's like him and his team are testing out and seeing different stuff as well. I've noticed it a little bit, so yeah, we'll see how that goes for the rest of the season. Yeah. But
I like where he's at right now.
Yeah,
considering
100%.
That was his second clay court event of the year, and to reach a final, and you're playing Alexander Zverev, that's what top 3 player. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and get you.
And he debuted. I say debuted. Wifey was watching.
Oh yes, she was there.
Shelts knows ball. And I loved as well during one of his on-court interviews, because he did a celebration. I forgot the match it was. Early rounds, anyway.
Yeah.
But it was because he went to go and see Bayern Munich play.
Yeah.
And what's the player's name now? This is poor on my side.
Yeah, it's your football guy.
Michael Elise.
Okay.
So Michael Elise's celebration is like, is it
something
this?
like that? Yeah, and then people started.
There was it's this, and then people are saying, "Oh, like what you do?" For me, I love that. Like players bringing like celebrations and like you're showing personality. Come on, man.
But you know,
the game needs it. The game needs it.
But you know how it is. How long have we been going with Shelton can sneeze at this point when people are going to chat.
What are you doing?
Like is always something, you know, if it's the non-Americans calling him American and ignorant, if it's the Americans who are calling him all sorts of words that I can't say on this podcast, then what is it? And even him, he was like, oh, it's crazy. You guys don't know. But and remember, it's not like a lot of Americans watch soccer like that. So I'm not too surprised.
He said, you guys called it football. Love that. Like we know, come on, and to American listeners, I love you, but we call football. Like we don't watch the NFL here. I'm sorry.
Unless it's time for the halftime show.
Exactly.
And then quickly to the ladies, Jasmine Paolini, she reached the semis. At Stuttgart, she had to play against Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals.
We don't just say Stuttgart, we say the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, Lucy. We give that the full title.
Here is a massive Porsche fan here, so yeah, my bad. Excuse me. But yeah, she reached semis and then again against Aryna Sabalenka, who was the runner-up. Shout out to Elena Ostapenko. For beating both Igor and Sabalenka to win the title. So you beat the top players, get a title, get money, and a new car.
The Macan, nuts. So are we not going to talk about Paolini and Gauff?
We can talk about it.
Because Lucy,
quickly.
What a match! Like for me, and again, Paolini now she's had 2 matches this year where I've been like, wow, okay, Osaka, Miami. Yep. Mm-hmm. And this one against Gauff, Stuttgart.
I just find it funny because people were like, oh yeah, Paolini, she hasn't beat any top 10 player. Now that she beat a top 10 player, it's like, yeah, but she beat
top 5.
Top 5 players.
Yeah.
They were saying both.
Oh, really?
And now that she has, it's like, oh yeah, but it was Coco. And I'm just like, you see, you guys are trying to come up with something. My thing is like, just say you don't like the player, keep it pushing.
I saw some foolish comments as well, like about, which you always do, sad, about, basically calling like a pusher, like calling Paolini a pusher.
That's crazy.
It's like, what?
That is actually crazy.
But again, during her on-court interview after the Gauff win, who was doing the interview? I forgot her name. But anyway, Paolini was saying how, maybe a year or 2 ago, she didn't actually believe that like she can compete at this level in terms of with these kind of players at this caliber, like your top 5 players, like where she said, whereas now, like she knows she's got the game to basically compete and win, like beat them, and the results kind of speak for themselves now.
Yeah,
so,
because even the first set of that Coco match, the way it was going initially, the way it started, it was like, oh shoot, like I actually thought Coco was going to win this.
Yeah, I think she was off a break early. Yeah,
like 2 breaks even. Like she was thing, and then Paolini just took over like
that
straight
fight,
away.
That fight that she's shown, like she's shown it for a while now.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her in Madrid, as well as Coco, and even Ostapenko. Like people forget, Ostapenko, she's a clay girl. I mean, she won her slam French Open, and when she wakes up, she wakes up. So yeah, man, probably them doubles, titles, and matches have been helping her out. Looking forward to seeing her as well. Let's conclude with Madrid Open. Predictions before we go into the black players. What do you think of Iga? How do you think she's going to be doing?
Straight in there with Iga,
quickly because of time.
I can see her making a run. She's defending champion, isn't she? So
do you think she's going to defend her title?
I don't think she's going to defend, but I can see her getting to like the semi-finals.
You see her getting semi-finals?
Yeah.
She's playing against with that.
Ayala.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting. Second round because she got a bye.
Yeah.
Or Ayala won earlier. It's going to be tough. She's going to come through though. Johnson's going to win that. You don't think so?
I think she will, but I don't see her going
deep.
I don't see her going.
So where
to
do you
the
see her?
Quarterfinal.
Okay,
Round
still
4.
fairly deep, but okay. That's
we'll see.
Interesting.
But yeah, aside from that, by the time this will go out, Osaka, she lost her match today.
Lucia Bonzetti, 3 sets.
Yeah. We might have Shelton versus Pechi Pericard for round 2. We might get Montgomery versus Pegula round 3. Hopefully, Montgomery, pulls through. But yeah, any predictions?
Won't that be round 2? Sorry, Pegula, Montgomery.
Is it round 2? Maybe I made a spelling mistake here. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. And then predictions. So for the men,
who'd you have?
Because it was Felix Rublev last year, wasn't it? For the men, I'm going to go Carlos.
Okay.
I think he's,
I hope so.
He's going to go back to back.
We got our final ticket. Let me get.
He's going to go back. He's going to go back to, and you're going to be there. And then for the women, Sabalenka's probably going to be hurting. Gauff also, I think she's going to be hurting as well from Stuttgart. I'm going to go one of those two.
Is it?
Gauff or Sabalenka.
I think women we're going to get a random winner.
Interesting.
Random. Like.
What, not even top 10?
Probably top 10.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be any of Sabalenka or Iga or Coco or
Pegula. Wow,
I think it may be Keys,
Keys, because, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. All I know, I just know it's not going to be the names that we normally mention. And for men, I'm going to go for... Yeah, I'm going to go for Carlos. I'm going to go for Alcaraz. So yeah,
let's see.
Let's see how that goes. But either way, guys, enjoy the tennis. Make sure that you stay tuned on our socials. And I feel like are you going to say something?
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. Were you going to say something? My bad. And yeah, we will be back after Madrid. We'll speak about Madrid. We'll speak about Rome, the return of
Jannik
the
world
Sinner.
number 1.
And yeah, enjoy the clay season.
Cheers, guys. Take care.